Hey, what's up, YouTube? So thank you for dealing with my Heroes of Storm tantrum / complaints from the last couple of weeks. Appreciate you all. Some of you mentioned that you also have these concerns and frustrations, and it's good to see that the community isn't completely dead yet. There was some feedback as well that people would like to see more replay analysis on this channel, and while I don't mind doing them, I have seen in the past they don't really get much engagement. So I'm gonna do a replay analysis today, and if you guys do really enjoy this type of content, feel free to drop a like. I'm looking for about 100 to 200 likes on these type of videos, as well as about 50 comments. So get to work and let's check out some Probius replays. Alrighty, welcome back to another game here. Let me just go ahead and make sure that I have all my audios being picked up. I had a restart yesterday on my PC that could have been a little bit on the scary side. Here on the left side, that we're facing off against a Vala, Whitemane, Leoric, Zagara, and Johanna. Very strong front line, good poke, good DPS, and a solid healer that is very hard to dive. I looked at this composition and I was like, it's gonna be hard to kill them, but I think we can out-control them. On the far right, on the red team, we have Samuro, Rhaegar, Hanzo, Probius, and then Mei. My Samuro immediately at the start started flaming me for my picks. I picked up an E on my Probius, so my thought process with this pick, it was a 4th and 5th pick, is that we are on Volskaya Foundry. And Volskaya Foundry is very similar to Sky Temple. It's a map where you want to try and control a zone for a while and have that King of Hell status, right? And I wanted someone that could give me a lot of strength, kind of hold down the lanes, and then also go from there. Another thing as well when it came to Probius that I wanted to do is I wanted to make sure that I could kill the Hydra on Zagara. Zagara has been a very big mainstay in Heroes of Storm since the latest few patches, because her hunter killer here, the Hydra, at level 13 gets a lot stronger due to the percent damage that it does against opponents. So you see a lot of people playing Zagara not even understanding how to really play the character, and just spamming that Hydra, and they get results with it because it's good damage. One thing to know about Hydras, if you ever do play them, you see me do it there, if that once you see an opponent drop a Hydra on you, kite away into a tower or let it die, right? It'll go into minion waves, whatever, it'll get picked up. Or B, find an option to blow it up right away. So I went ahead and picked up Probius. Probius's W into Q combo is pretty much free underneath his pylon. For those that don't know how Probius works, if he's near a pylon, he gets mana regeneration right away. No issue at all for him, and he's pretty much always at full mana if he has a pylon next to him. So I can literally look at a Hydra and WQ it and blow it up in one shot and go from there, which nullifies the Zagara. So that's why I picked Probius here. Also, he plays for the map. And this is something that I struggle with a lot of it right here. The Hydra comes out, I immediately just walk away. Watch as it goes into the mini waves, it's already taking damage, turrets will clean it up. That's how you deal with Hydras. Easy peasy. Alright, so Probius will have a lot of controlling zone areas, especially around level 10, where he can set up a lot of infrastructure. It's very similar to StarCraft 2, where the photon cannons can be quite disruptive. So that's my main goal as Probius. I'm just trying to wave clear over and over. I put a W down, I go for a Q. If there's someone in there, great, I'll get some extra damage, and then I'll waddle away. So Probius brings wave clear and grave zone control. Now, what does Probius not have? One, no health whatsoever. Oh my god, his health is so bad. Where's my hotkey here? Which one is me? 9. Look at my health. I'm at 1500 HP on this character. Compare that to Leoric, who has 3000. Literally double my HP. Now, granted, he's a bruiser, but if you look around anyone else, Whitemane has more healing than Probius. Probius is a small health bar. So if you ever find yourself in a situation where you are against divers or anyone that can do quick burst damage, Probius is an awful pick. But I was looking over at their side, and I was like, you know what? Aside from Vala, if she's able to get on me with a strafe or anything, they can't really get on top of me too well, and this character should be able to pay off in the long run. Mei also is very, very good for zone control. Like, Mei is actually one of these characters that I wish we got to see in pro gameplay a lot more, because of what she brings to the table. Sadly, HCC died off before she was able to be evaluated, tuned up with balance, etc., and she never really became this mainstay. I do know that there are some esports tournaments that happen over on Calidor's channel and whatnot, and we have seen Mei mixed in, but she has a lot of strength to her that I wish I saw more compositions built around her. In terms of the rest of the composition, Hanzo has good poke. He went for a Q build, which means that his wave clear is okay, but his DPS on infrastructure is a big deal. That will come into fruition later on. He does barely anything when it comes to killing towers. And then we have a Samuro, who is probably one of the most broken characters in the game, and I'm still mad at the dev who buffed him before deciding to leave and go work on Diablo. Regardless, you're going to see my game plan here. I'm still soaking and trying to get to level 10. That's what I want to do right away. I will walk away from any lane just to make sure I can clear it. I want to try and keep the experience advantage. In fact, in this game, we are very similar to our opponent, which I was very pleased with. And you want to try and build up this area to 100% at the start. And this is where I'm starting to build up a nice little wall here on the side of a pylon over here so I can retreat to and get mana. I want to put one up here, or probably one here in the middle. And then my main goal on Probius is to WQ these areas, these chokes, right? I don't ever want to step up and auto attack too much unless I'm trying to bait them out of position. Johanna won't do anything to me after she uses Condemn, so I can step in and get damage in there. But I'm just trying to like keep stuff near my front line and put myself in a position to poke them down. And things will get better for me too. As you can see, I'm building into an E build, which allows for me to put up a tower defense. I'll be able to throw down multiple photon cannons, as you see in most scenarios. And while these photon cannons don't do that big of damage, they are going to whittle down your opponent and force your healer to constantly keep healing. And the thing is, if I get whittled down my opponent, they use one Q over here to heal somebody up. Whitemane has to go for another. And if you don't know how Whitemane works, she can do quick burst lightning setups, but she stresses out her mana bar. She has a different mana bar compared to others. So just trying to whittle down your opponents, and then when a Hanzo comes in or a Samuro goes for some burst damage and she has to double tap her Zeals and whatnot, she starts to stress out in fights, and that's my entire goal. Now, we did have a few people get picked off, and they're about to go for an overtime. Fun fact about this map, I don't talk about the map too much here, is at 99%, someone has to hold this for a long duration through overtime in order for it to get there. You can let your opponent take this entire point, but if they can't finish the last 1% in overtime, you can take it away from him. That's when you want to come in for kills. So that's why it's always good to try and get like a decent amount set up on them. Have your opponent come and commit. Then you can go for split pushing, get your other waves pushing into lanes, and then come over and fight and grab the robot afterwards. So I believe that's what we did here. We had a couple of deaths. I think Hanzo died. I think Mei died once. But we're starting to whittle them back. And once I see people starting to step forward, after Johanna gets poked out, you'll see me start to move up and try and zone out these areas and just keep people off the objective so we can start taking away from them. Mei gets a good engage. We're on the Whitemane. Whitemane's low, and she is backing away, getting low on mana, and now she's struggled out, right? She has to tap or go back home in order to get mana, and she decides she has to go back to get mana, and this allows for us to turn around and grab this. Only thing we have to deal with now is trying to keep Leoric from getting anything on us. He sets up for Hanzo. We turn around and get some damage. I missed my WQ combo. That's okay. I'm all about zoning. And we find a kill, so Leoric is kind of ending to win. And now we can build up and move into the first robot. Now, for those that don't know how the robot works, the robot is a two-passenger type of thing. I'm saying this, I'm sure you guys are like, we know what robots are like. When it comes to my games, no one knows what the robot does. The robot is a great PvP tool, but it's even better for clearing out objectives, especially on the second one. The first one, too little HP, but it starts to get better over time. What you want to do is use your little bullets that are on here and burn down the turrets in the front line and then siege away at a nice distance. You don't really want to punch too much on the character. The driver itself gives team-wide abilities. You have a shield that's available, you have a glove to push people away. It's more utility-based, whereas the turret dealer does a lot more damage and is the one that should be main focus. So you want to try and space that out better. We do hit level 10 here. Ultimates come online. We do have Blade Storm, which I actually really do like. I think I am a fan of it. Ancestral Healing, and then we have Dragon's Arrow. We have the Pylon Overcharge, which I love on this map, mostly because of the conveyor belts. You'll see that later on. And then we have Ice Wall. I actually really love this pickup. I think too many Mei players are trying to go for big snowball plays to try and put their opponents into a weird spot. And while it is cool and it's great for wombo combos, the Ice Wall itself, look at this, is so strong. Look what she's done here. She has walled off Whitemane, and she has made sure the rest of the team is stuck in this corner. They actually can't get back to their base. Look how awesome that is. It's a better Tassadar wall, you know? Because it stops somebody. And we could potentially go in for some picks here. I don't think we have it with the current roster we have available to us, but look how much utility it has to it. And look how low the cooldown is. You can spam that out every 1 minute. Bonkers good. Anyways, if you play Mei, think about Ice Wall. Alright, so we go back into our leading phases. We did get the first objective. Preferably, pie in the sky is you want to get the first objective burned down, and then you want to try and rotate up here and try and get this fort down. This actually kind of sucks a lot because a few years ago they made it to where mana wells are now invulnerable, which means this Volskaya Foundry objective is suddenly not as strong as it used to be. It used to be back in the day, if you got the first robot, you would immediately come here in the middle, you would snipe this snipe this mana well here with your laser and your orbs, and then come up here and get this mana well. And this sets you up for the second objective when it spawns to make sure that you have mana over your opponent. So you can go in, go for a trade, don't die, come back, tap, and you now have a health and mana advantage over your opponents. And it used to be one of the main focuses of Oscar Foundry. It was a great strategy, and then this happened because Genji players would kill Wells, and the Heroes of Storm dev team took out that strategy in order to make sure Genji wouldn't be too strong, you know, instead of just deleting Genji from the game. So it's kind of an interesting little tidbit when it comes to this map. So usually now what you want to do is you want to try and just open up the walls here on the first robot. You get the walls opened up, and then you go for the well strategy on the second one, because after you kill the fort, the well dies as well. So just a little bit of a strategy idea there and what you want to try and go for. The other thing that's really big on this map that I usually try to play around a lot, as much you'll see on this here on the corner, is these turrets. For some reason, Heroes of Storm players, I don't know if it's because, like, it's too League-like or something, but they just do not care for activatable items. And these items on this map are massive. These items, for those that don't know, were actually brought into the game because the Chinese and Eastern scene in Heroes of the Storm were pretty upset that there wasn't a lot of individual gameplay in the game, right? They just felt like when it became League or Dota or Heroes of New Worth, they felt like they had more control over the characters, and if they did well, they would be rewarded more compared to Heroes of the Storm. That's fine. You can debate back and forth what Heroes of the Storm is versus what other MOBAs are in the world, but the dev team tried to solve that with a couple of approaches. One, TrikSlyr and Genji was the response to that. Tried to give you strong characters that have a lot of mobility so you can be a stronger player, right? Second, they started adding items into the game. They have turrets, they have healing camps, and this was noticeable on Hanamura, noticeable on this map as well. They tried to find ways to give you things for you to make individual decisions so you felt better about your individual decisions so you could help try to carry in a different way. And for some reason, the Heroes of Storm in the community in general has not responded well to that. Always try to grab these on cooldown. This is extra DPS. This is a health bar that you can put in front of people. And the great thing about turrets as well is they're consistent damage that you can throw on top of these, and they will last the entire duration. You can have an advantage built in on the top side. So just be aware of that. We're talking about advantage. I'm now doing Probius things where I've thrown down a couple of pylons, one here on the top right, one here on the side, photon cannon here on the bottom, trying to have one here as well. And what I want is just vision, right? I want vision and damage on my opponents, and I want them to have to clear my stuff before they get to us. I can leave this way, and I can leave this way, and I can leave this way. I have 3 options to retreat based on what occurs or how my opponents move in. Samuro's doing a good job of constantly double soaking. He soaked the bottom lane, he soaked the middle lane as well. Probius comes in for, Johanna comes in for engage on Probius here, and you see me cut to the side. I'm waiting for damage here. So one thing that may look a little bit weird is Johanna was sitting on my face, and I didn't put my turret down. I have no reason to put my turret down until there's a target that I want to die being near me, and that target finally showed up, which is white main. Johanna, whatever. She drops her blind, or she drops her blind, she drops her slow, she drops her condemned, whatever. It'll took me down to about half HP. If there's no damage dealer there, there's no reason for me to put my turret down. I can just go ahead and leave, get healed up for my Rhaegar, it's fine. But the moment white main came in, I put my turret down and forced her into a fight with me, while I'm getting shields based on my level 13 talent, and my Rhaegar and Hanzo and Mei can now come in here, and she is now sectioned off. So that's what you should use your turrets for important targets that might come in. Eventually, she does get burned down. My team chases her down. Well done. I throw a photon cannon here in the middle. I'm just zoning and playing around my Hanzo. That's all I want to do. Get this objective. I don't need no kills, man. I'm just watching the base here. Finally, the robot comes in. We step up. We continue our wave clear. We keep moving in. I decided that getting into this robot actually isn't as good for me. I am actually a much better wave clear than most of the characters on my team, except for Hanzo, if you ask me. So I just want to go ahead and go back to wave clear with Samuro and push into the lanes and build towards level 16. So we do see in the top lane our Hanzo and Rhaegar begin to start working on the front line, the top side. Just focus this down as much as you can, push away the higher DPSs. The thing about pushing back Zagara, there's really no reason to it. Her basic attacks, while annoying, is less important than this Hydra here. So always try to push back the Vala or a main tank that might be in you. Like this Drain Hope, these would probably be the targets in priority 1, 2, and 3 in terms of what I would push in the future. Like always keep an eye out for like, hey, what's gonna kill my robot fastest, you know? It keeps up the damage. You can see that Drain Hope. Oh my god, that just burns through that right away. Meanwhile, though, in the middle lane with my superior wave push, I'm just pushing in, getting the help with Samuro. We've already burned this down to half fort, which is kind of insane to think, right? There's robots up here, but yeah, we're doing more damage with regular heroes. Use those vehicles, even like Dragonshire, as distractions to your opponents, right? Take what's given to you, and that's where Probius really excels in this situation. Samuro doing the same thing here in the bottom lane, getting pushed out. We are now ahead 16 to 14. In my opinion, at this point, you want to try setting yourself up to do aggressive plays on their turrets, taking out their stuff. Vala did try to vault towards me, so I popped my ultimate here. Dragon's Arrow misses. I didn't miss that. I missed that when I was actually playing. Anytime that you see a white main go for her Aegis, know the entire team is getting defense, and they've also been just healed up, and there's still burst heal available for white main. The best situation, in my opinion, is to walk away from this or play on the edge of the fight. Never force an all-in against a white main that uses Aegis. Our Mei does go in, though, and helps out with Samuro and gets the kill. Granted, that 16 to 14 talent advantage was helping us out there. Just something to consider in the future. Zagar is working on the bottom lane and building towards level 16. I'm trying to get through here and stopping this creep from setting up. The reason why I want to stop this creep from setting up is because the next objective will be down here. For Volskaya Foundry, you will have a mid-wave, top wave, and bottom wave rotation on the robot protocol. And that will cycle over and reheat. On the fourth one, it will be here, fifth one will be here, and sixth one will be here. Third one is to the point where the robot is healthy enough for you to start committing fully to forts and keeps. Second is more of opening up walls and, of course, punishing anything that you got off of the first one. So be aware of that. And the fourth one becomes quite devastating, as it is, I believe, around the 20-minute mark. Finally, we get the fort in the middle lane. Fort in the middle lane is something that's actually going to come up later on that we're going to discuss. Middle lanes on most maps suck for pushing in. You just want to take those for the experience and for the map control. The reason why you kill forts is so your minions will be pushing over here, and if you see someone defending it here, you know you're open to grab this or you're open to grab that, right? Middle lanes usually aren't kill lanes, and by kill lanes, I mean ending the game. Reason being, if you look at the middle of the map here, you have your keep here defending, which is an AoE, or excuse me, your core, which is an AoE attack that now has weird abilities that has been added to HOTS just to make them more effective against cheese strategies like Curse Hollow. But the issue is, when you push into this lane, you can probably go right about here-ish and right about here-ish. And then you have a keep on the bottom and you have a keep on the top that will shell you down. So your way to end the game is through this itty-bitty choke, which you push in and you go into AoE, and now you're locked into an area where your opponents have defender's advantage and healing. So usually taking out the middle of the map is only used for vision, or if you have a full 5-man team wipe to go for a kill. Other than that, you kind of want to open up the other parts of the map. With that being said, you also want to defend the other parts of the map. You'll see me a lot of the time when I get behind in a game, I'll give up the middle of the map every single time because it's easily defendable compared to the other sides. Samuro gets picked off here in the middle of the map. We do have a fight continuing on. Look at this pylon overcharge. Oh my god, I love this ice wall. Look at this. Look at this. I can now put a combo right on top of it, go for some damage. We were zapping him the entire time. This Johanna got slow on HP. Looks like she'll be able to get it out. Well, White may be able to. Yes, she will, but at least they're bruised and battered. Oh my god, almost getting destroyed. But we get our kills. We're killing up the Hydras, and we're still poking into the middle lane here, right? Still being annoying. Trying to force them to back so we can get our menu waves and start working on this keep in the middle. Now, we did see Zagara on the bottom side during all of this. So that's why I'm keeping up with the push of my team, or I would have rotated out. There is a wave in the top lane that is in our favor. I saw that by counting the numbers. If you have one minion advantage, they will always push into the opposing side until they clear that up or they go into a turret. And now we're just kind of floating around here at 19 to 17. I noticed that everyone's not really rotating or anything for the objective, and I'm not going to give this away to Zagar for free, especially with us being on even levels. Granted, we're at 19 to 17, but we are effectively the same power level as our opponents. Each level between, whether it be 1 and 4, right? If your opponent is level 3 and you're level 1, technically you're at the same power level because you don't have a talent advantage. A lot of the power levels in Heroes of Storm is at 1, 4, 7, 10, 13, 16, and 20, right? So don't be fooled by saying, oh, I'm 2 levels above my opponent, I can just push in. They have a little bit more HP, they have maybe a little bit more damage, but in terms of just killability, it's very low. You want that level 20 to come in. So I go ahead and peel off and say, I don't go down here. And this is where I actually really enjoy Probius on the map. Some may consider this trolling. I actually think it's a really effective strategy, and I want to explain it. So, at level 20, I'm going for the extra pylons here. Which I'll show right here. It's called Construct Additional Pylons. Probius can now have the 3 active pylons that increase the damage of pylon overcharge by 25%. I then throw the pylons on these conveyor belts and have them circle around. I think my spacing was bad on this one, the first one, so I tried to fix it later on. But I just sit here on the bottom right, and that's my goal, to just play this entire L area, right? If my opponent's forced a fight to come in and get me, I just pop Pylon Overcharge. I get free poke on them all the way to right about here, so they can't really hold the zone unless they want to get whittled out. And then if I get in trouble, I can just run back to my base and sacrifice my pylons and then rebuild them up for later on. I mean, look at my heroic when you look at the timing on it. It's only 80 seconds. That is easy to build up. So we throw these pylons down here, and then I have an extra turret too when they do fully commit to me. It is 20 to 18. Now, in theory, my opponent should be soaking all 3 lanes instead and trying to get to 20 himself and then defend the robot. Hanzo's working on the turret here on the bottom right. Samuro's pushing in the middle of the map, and you can afford to have your offlaner go off on double soak. You usually want to have all 4 down here. Let's see how it shapes out in this fight, because I actually remember this fight being very confusing to me, and I want to see what happens. So we have our tank and our healer and Probius here. So our damage isn't that good, to be quite honest. I'm actually the most damaged, and while I do like what Probius brings to this map, Probius ain't going to kill shit here. He's not going to do anything. So I immediately pop my pylon overcharge to save my teammates. I believe I throw down my turret, and I'm thinking about immediately escaping up here in the top right corner as soon as things get hairy. Hanzo's finished the turret in the bottom right and is currently backing at the moment. And Samuro's rotating down because he saw the fight starting to break out. Let's see how this goes out. Step up for a combo, good condemned by Johanna. Here comes the Dragon's Arrow. It whiffs on White Mane. That explains why he wasn't there. Does he have play of the game? Yeah, he was looking for the play of the game pick. That explains it. So Hanzo has to rotate down. We're missing our damage, which means our front line and our support is going to get completely obliterated. And that means that they're not there and we have no front line. And even though it's 20 to 19, there is a number advantage for our opponents with Hanzo getting picked up. So I go ahead and just peel all the way out. Tap up. Gonna try and poke where I can. I'm thinking maybe I go top lane. Maybe I just kind of sit here and play defense. We'll see how it goes. I think I decided the ladder. As middle lane is pushing in, and Samuro moves straight over here to the keep. Does he go for the keep? He goes for the keep, right? Nice. Good dance there. God, Samuro is so busted. It's insane how much that character just destroys every person in this game. And he can cleanse himself just by hitting Q. Bonkers sauce. So we have a lot of pings coming in for Samuro to run on the bottom side, but I'm not going to go in on this. I have no reason as a little probe to set up, but what I will do is throw down a couple of pylons and wait for my next overcharge and then try to push in with my team afterwards. Photon Cannon goes down. I see Mate trying to go for the fight. I'm going to dance on the outskirts. I want to help her, but there's not really much I can do. I throw down another pylon. Blessed Shield comes out, which is a nice heroic to have. Fun fact, you can't ping heroics in this game, which really annoys me, because that timing is so important. And we realize, all right, we're sitting here and defending the tower. I have no interest in overstaying here and getting caught out by the Zagara. I'm going to throw down some photon cannons. I'm going to throw down a couple of pylons, but I'm going to skittle all the way down to the keep. I see Samuro on the map working on middle lane. That's fine. He can get the middle of the keep. I'm totally cool with that. He can do the wave soak. My goal and objective here is to just defend where I can. Pylons coming out. There goes the photon cannons. And I'm just going to try and wheel down this mech. At this point, the opposing mech should be trying to bully out Hanzo as much as they can and just go in straight for the keep. I popped my Photon Overcharge because they started working on this pylon. It was low, and I'm about to have my third one come up in a second, which when you do throw it down in the middle of your Photon Overcharge, it will help out. Rhaegar continues to go in for some poke. Now, we do have the Aegis popping up, and we see that there's the infinite strafe coming in from Vala. So I go ahead and just kite away from that. I have no interest in just ending this game. Samuro does finally come in the bottom lane and looks to try and get some damage, so I step up and try and keep throwing out any photon cans I can, trying to bait him into a situation where he can get the engage that he's looking for. Good engage here from our Mei. Locks down I almost said Vi for some reason. Vala. And we're in this weird defensive position, right? While Zagara's working on this. If I was the Zagara or their team, I would be pissed off, right? Like, come down here and help get this keep, man. We have killed their main DPS, Hanzo. Hanzo can't do anything until he spawns in 30 seconds. Their main DPS is Probius at the moment, which I will admit is not very good. And she's just out here soaking the waves. And here's the thing. After 20, soak is useless. If you're Zagara, you walk up here, you drop a Roaches, you drop a couple of Bailings, and you beeline straight down here. You want to get the minion advantage in favor, which you will have because you have the mercenary camps, pushing into these forts so you can burn them later on, and then you want to come help your team. Because now your team's in this weird war of attrition that we're slowly winning with a Probius. Like, I would legit be tilted at the Zagara. You don't need to soak past 20. All you need to do is get the waves pushing to be in your favor. You get nothing for leveling up past level 20. It's just a bigger number that means nothing. Regardless, we continue to keep holding. We're trying to buy time for Hanzo. Holding down. Photon cannon keeps coming up. I keep trying to blast Johanna. If Johanna can't hold the front line, then we should be in okay position. Aegis comes out. Samuro able to step up and get some decent damage. Rhaegar way oversteps here. At this point, too, as Rhaegar, you don't need to buy it unless you can kill secure or you're building for it. Like, look at this damage Vol's getting. Like, what is she at right now in the stats? Yeah, 74k, and that's like 40k inflated damage just because people are standing in it. Finally, an arrow comes out. We lock it on Whitemane, and that allows us to turn the tide here and start setting up a fight. Frosty Frost comes in, looks over, goes in for a Johanna proc. Able to slow down the Vala as well. Vala is the main target. Johanna is not someone that we need to kill. And from here, we need to decide what we want to do, as we are about to wipe their team here. Johanna goes down to 4. There's Zagara with a Hydra. That's getting focused down. And the call has been made end from our Samuro. And remember what I was talking about earlier, how hard it is to push into this? He yells end, which we can't even end yet as we have to get to this keep. And then 2, our main DPS behind that, usually our range, is Hanzo, who has a very slow auto attack and is built into a Q build. You're not going to burn through this core, and then of course you have Probius. But I did want to help out my teammate with his goals, so what I decided to do was pick up this turret. So I started working on that. This turret will allow me 2 things. 1, it gives me DPS, and 2, it gives me an escape route. One thing that you may not consider about the turret is that when you set it down, of course, and you run through it, if your opponents are mounted up and they start to chase you, they will get hit with it. Therefore, they can't use the movement speed advantage to lock you down as you try to retreat. So I was like, all right, if they want to go in and put DPS on the core, I'm down, but let me make sure I can get out of this in case we screw this up. So I went and grabbed the turret. After we get it all done and finished up, it looks like all we got was a keep off of this, which is good. At least we have catapult pressure in the middle lane while we need to defend the top lane here. And our poor Samuro starts freaking out saying NWTF. Again, I'm cool with this call. I don't even care if he's confused, but you have to assess the situation and how you can handle your opponent. Zagara has better range and slow abilities against us that prevents us from ending on the core. So taking the keep is probably fine. I decided to go ahead and go set up on the next objective instead. At least we have a potential to move forward. Yo, I can't play this broke. It's too tilting. Yeah, this guy was in the pregame lobby talking about how he's a diamond smurf and we're going to easy win this game, blah, 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 blah. Here's the fact of the matter for anyone that smurfs in Heroes of Storm or any MOBA for that record. No one cares what you are in the other elos. You need to perform now. And while you may have knowledge that allows you to do well at those areas, you still have to earn the win here at this elo. So go with the flow. Be like water. Now, the Zagara makes a massive mistake trying to set up a bunch of creep tumors here without her team. Her team went up to move up and grab the support item. And now we are in a situation where we're setting up for the objective. They kind of have to go for the objective here. The 4th objective is game ending if a keep is down. So they do have to kind of step up and fight this. I didn't think it would come so early, and they do look very disjointed. I want this Leona, or not Leona, oh my god, this Leoric and this Johanna to be together. Leoric potentially coming here on the dock side, Johanna going on the front side, and then them doing everything they can to protect Vala so she can win the DPS race. But that's not how the fight went down. So I turn around, start getting some damage on top of this Johanna. I built a W behind it in case they want to chase in, and then I throw down my Photon Overcharge, which is 3 of them now just sharking away at the damage, and I also add the turret into the DPS. DPS burns down quite well. We do have a good job from our May here in trying to zone out the Vala. If Vala would have chased that, she would have maybe found a kill. And now after it's all said and done, they are bruised and battered, and here comes Samuro to get the cleanup and show his amazing diming skills. There's another pickup. Hanzo's on the top side here, playing it safe, waiting for heals, and now we have the objective coming in, and we can go finish the game. I go ahead and drop into the driver's seat. At this point, I know that this game can be ended if we take this robot and go straight to the core. So instead of taking it the first 3 times, this is something you can learn in your own games too. When to take the objective, right? When can you make a deal with it? The first couple of objectives, Dragonshire, whatever, I'd rather just focus on wave clear with the character that I picked up, right? Anyone else on my team can have the vehicle. They can go have fun. But now that I know I can end the game, I just start moving across the map. My main goal here is to focus on saving these catapults. These are my main DPS. As long as they're hitting the core, I'm happy. And I want to run in, and I want to push away any DPS that runs at me with the glove. Just focus, punch it down, and call it a day. So, hopefully you guys learned something about Probius here and what he can pull off. In terms of the stats, we'll pull them up real quick. Looks like I didn't die once, 108 siege damage, and it was a nice, chill game. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you guys next time. Make sure to drop a comment and some likes below.